3 years. As of the time I'm writing the script, it has been over 3 years since the Owl House has started airing. And I know to a lot of you that might not mean much, but for me, it's a pretty big deal. See, if it wasn't for the Owl House, I honestly doubt I'd even have a channel. I don't necessarily think that the Owl House is the best animated series ever, but it is definitely my favorite to watch, analyze, and just talk about in general. This series does mean a lot to me. And I think a really good episode to showcase how good the Owl House is the episode Hollow Mind. And knock knock knocking on Hootie's door, but that's for a different time. The thing that works so well in Hollow Mind is that is essentially the turning point for everything that the series is building up, which is honestly a testament to how good it is. Hollow Mind needed to reveal our bad guys' intentions, up the stakes, create interesting turning points for two characters, allude to an even bigger story, and keep us engaged. And it managed to do all of that really well. So I want to talk about it, and I want to see why the writing in Hollow Mind is so good. Also, spoilers for the Owl House, obviously. So to properly examine Hollow Mind, let's talk about what the series was doing before Hollow Mind. Hollow Mind is Season 2, Episode 16, the back half of Season 2. Before this point, the Owl House had already established who our main villain was going to be. It was Belos. But the information we had on what Belos truly wanted was really iffy at best. We knew that he was doing something with the whole magic system and the glyphs. And we knew that supposedly his intentions were that he wanted to rid of all wild magic because it did something horrible to him and his family. But even then, things didn't really line up. Everything just seemed really off and really iffy. This episode also stars Luz and Hunter. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. For both of these characters, they are reaching a somewhat climax in their character motivations and arcs. For Luz, this whole season, she's been trying to get back to the human realm and to her mother. In basic terms, this is what she's trying to do for most of Season 2. And although she's gotten very close to getting what she wants, she ultimately hasn't fully been able to. The reason that she's so motivated throughout Season 2 is because she feels that she's been inadequate. She got Ida captured, and to her, she feels like a disappointment to her mother. This is, in basic terms, where Luz stands at this point in the series before Hollow Mind. Now let's talk about Hunter. For Hunter, it's been established throughout Season 2 that Hunter is basically under Belos' thumb, but has slowly been moving away from that. His beliefs that Belos is doing the right thing, taking Palisman away, and not allowing him to leave the castle are being challenged. And although he still hasn't fully accepted it yet, basically, he's at a point at this point where he can go one way or the other. Basically, he's at a metaphorical crossroads. Basically, this is where we stand before Hollow Mind happens. Tensions are high, and we've reached a point where two characters can either go one way or the other. Basically, Hollow Mind acts as the climax for that main story, and for two prominent characters. And this is partially why the episode works so well. Now, let's actually talk about what the episode actually does. So we open up our episode with Luz and Hunter both accidentally stumbling on Rain, Darius, and Everwolf's, three unnamed individuals' plans to get into the Emperor's mind for some reason. Who cares? They're in the Emperor's mind. Let's go. Okay, but seriously, this is something I don't exactly like about this episode. I feel as though there could have been more of a reason for them other than Hunter just stepping on a bottle of magic brain juice and ending up in the magic mindscape because magic. Overall, it's a pretty small complaint, and I guess it really doesn't matter too much. After that, they stumble onto Belos' real mind, and the adventure begins. It's such a small thing, but the inclusion of the fake mindscape is genuinely such a cool way of building tension, letting us know right away that nothing is going to be what it seems. They dive into a couple memories, learn that Belos was basically lying when it came to wild magic, which is news to Hunter, who immediately tries to deny it. This is a subtle way of building tension, letting us know more about Belos' true intentions, slowly inching towards the climax of the episode. And it's a pretty good way of showing Hunter's mentality, and showing literally how under Belos' dumb he's going to be, which is a good way of building tension for the eventual fallout this episode's going to have later. We also get a scene where the Collector is finally introduced. This is a good way for building tension throughout the next few episodes, because the Collector is going to be vital in those next few episodes and building tension. And this is a great introduction to someone that's been alluded to this whole season, but hasn't had a full-on introduction. That's why this episode works as well as it is, because it adds small moments of tension like this. And it alludes to things that are going to become vital in the next few episodes. This episode also has a Palisman Demon and a little kid, which are really good ways of building tension and making us question things like, why is this little kid in Belos' mind? Why is there a demon attacking him? What is this demon? What are Belos' true intentions? And what is Belos trying to hide here? Things like that are genuinely such good ways of building pressure within the episode, which all eventually culminates in this episode's final scenes. And it's so cool that the episode's able to do this, because, like I said, this episode is 22 minutes long. And throughout that runtime, it's able to build a solid character arc within the episode that also cleanly fits into all the other episodes. It's genuinely a testament to what you can do in 22 minutes. But that doesn't matter now, because we're at this episode's finale, and oh boy, what a finale it is. Luz and Hunter stumble on to the Golden Guard graveyard, and basically Belos shows up, crushes that huge Palisman demon, revealing that yes, there was a huge Palisman demon living inside his head. Yeah. And we get our two main reveals this episode. That Hunter is a Grimwalker, and that Philip was Belos this entire time, and Luz basically helped him to discovering the way to the human realm. Wait, that's it? What? We already knew that. Who cares? Okay, a bit of background. Basically, before this episode came out, tons of fans were theorizing that Hunter was a Grimwalker, and a lot of fans had already figured out that Belos was Philip. So, although the reveal was kind of shocking to a lot of people, for a lot more people, they were kind of expecting this. And I don't think the episode really needs to be discredited because of that. Because, like I said, the episode doesn't really need the shock value. Like I said, the whole mystery and tension, this episode had a lot of that. But it doesn't really matter if it wasn't really a shocking reveal to us. It matters that it was a shocking reveal to Luz and Hunter. An example I could use is episode 18 of Neon Genesis Evangelion. The series, not the movies. Spoilers for Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know why I bother putting that here, because even after watching the entire series and the movie, I still don't know what was going on. But in episode 18, there's a whole mystery about who the pilot is for Unit 03. Actually, calling it a mystery is slightly misleading, because if you're actually watching the episode, it's fairly obvious. The show doesn't directly say that it's Toji, but you can piece it together fairly easily with the way other characters are referring to it and how Toji's been acting. So when Unit 03 goes wrong, it's fairly obvious who's in danger here. It's Toji. Even though we don't even see Toji in the Eva until the end of the episode when he's getting pulled out. But that's not what makes this episode compelling. What makes it compelling is that it's not a huge reveal to us, but it's a huge reveal for Shinji. It matters to Shinji. Shinji is Toji's best friend, and Toji's Shinji's best friend. So when Shinji basically almost kills him and Toji is pulled out of the Eva, we can understand and sympathize with why Shinji is feeling as bad as he does in that moment. Especially since that throughout the show, Shinji's been struggling against his depression, having others around to form his identity, and basically battling against the feeling that he's unwanted. That's the reason why this reveal works in Hollow Mind, because it doesn't matter if this isn't news to us. It matters that it's news to Luz and Hunter. For Hunter, this basically recontextualizes his entire existence. And for Luz, it basically just confirms all her deepest fears and insecurities that have been harboring over season 2. Basically, this twist does a lot for these two characters, so the episode doesn't really need to convince us that it's a shocking reveal. It needs to convince us that it's a shocking reveal to Luz and Hunter, and it does that pretty well, because we care about Luz and Hunter, and we have come to understand them this past season. So Hollow Mind manages to reveal two plot twists that have huge impacts for two characters, actually introduces a new character that becomes vital in the following episodes, reveals and instigates a long brewing conflict that the entire series has alluded to up to this point, and drops some Easter eggs for the backstory of our main villain. And this is all done in one single episode. That's pretty impressive. But from here, what's really important is what the show does after this episode, aka the fallout. There are 5 episodes left in Season 2 after Hollow Mind, and with those 5 episodes, the show manages to build upon the reveals of Hollow Mind, continue character arcs in a way that feels natural, keep the stakes high, and the story interesting as we finally approach the Season 2 finale. We focus on King for a bit and get some more reveals about the lore, and the fact that King is a Titan, while also learning a few new things about the Collector. This builds upon the suspense that the Collector brought and reminds us that this little kid is going to be important for the episodes coming forward. It also focuses on King for a bit, which is crucial to the episodes coming forward, and is a good way of building character growth between him, especially after a while where we haven't really been doing that. Next thing that this episode does is we get Labyrinth Runners. Yay! My favorite episode of Season 2, genuinely. But Labyrinth Runners is kind of interesting because it also builds a relationship between Gus, Hunter, Willow, and the rest of the Hex Squad, and allows Hunter to cope with all the darkness that happened in Hollow Mind. This is really interesting because it finally shows us what Hunter can become, and truly sets Hunter on his own path, which is a fun way of just building up his character growth in general. But it's also a good way of building a parallel between him and Belos. After all, after Belos was revealed to have something betrayed to him, quote unquote, he goes ahead and stabs someone and closes off his walled heart to everyone, not bothering to learn anything and choosing to remain in his own ignorance. But with Hunter, after being betrayed by the only person that he felt was true, he decides to go out there and learn about the world for himself. This is a really good way to build upon his character arc. Then we get Oh Titan, Wherefore Art Thou, which works as a great way to build up pressure for the team and for Ida, Luz, and the others. And it's a great way to lead us into the finale of Season 2. Clouds on the horizon and King's Tide, and do I even need to explain why these episodes are so good? They give us great payoffs, have an epic final fight, and lead us into Season 3 perfectly. Yes, Season 3. The full season that we're going to get. Imagine what adventures wait out here. Oh, wait. Do you remember? Disney decided to break my heart in half and pull it out of my chest because they hate happiness for some reason. And okay, that was a lot. But hopefully you still understood what I was trying to say this video, which is that the Owl House is really, really good. Well, that's going to be it for me. hopefully you guys like this video. Please tell me what else you want me to talk about. It makes me super happy to hear that anyone likes what I talk about. So if you do like what I talk about, please tell me about other things I can talk about. I would love that. And please have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.